All right, everybody, come on in, come on in. Thank you all so much for being here. Welcome back to another episode of the Wives Club. The Wives Club was started in 2021, 3? Oh goodness, 2021 when I booked a session with the late, great Kevin Samuels. It wasn't for me. It was because I believed what he said about the older women should teach the young. So what we do here is we review Kevin's content each week, even though he's gone. His message still lives on. You all know me as Maggie, the substitute teacher. I have a cooking channel, and Lou Casely is my co-host. Lucy, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi there, I'm Luke Casely, also known as Lucy. I have a channel that, for the most part, was for teaching basic Spanish, but I've kind of changed the content for this year to be more related to elegance, femininity, and also issues about things that impact women over 50.
Absolutely. So you all can come on in, sit back and relax. We've got a treat for you today. So we are going to be reviewing yet another Kevin Samuels video, and I have some notes here, and I'm going to refer back to them. So what we do is we review his content from an older woman's perspective as a way to give back, and we've got a special guest who's going to be joining us very soon. All right, so the episode that we are going to be reviewing today and responding to, just like Kevin Samuel's content, it had a very striking title, and this one is called Women Need to Work for High Value Men. And this can be taken several ways, but in this episode, Kevin is actually talking about us women being employed by our men. He actually asked a question on Instagram, and then this became a YouTube stream where he asked women, would you quit your full-time job to work part-time for your man? And some women were all for it, and some women were like, no, I've got too much on the line, it's too risky. So we're going to respond from our perspective here. And this comes on the heels of our episode last week where we talked about women being economically unattractive because of student loan debt and how it affects them in relationships. So, Lucy, would you like to add anything before we start?
I think I remember watching the episode and I took notes, but I don't know where my notes are. So, so I have my notes here. I don't know if this was for that episode or for another thing, but I think it's going to be a great topic. It's something Kevin Samuels always had something that at least for me had me thinking about some of the topics that when I was first married the first time and even the second time, I never thought about until he started talking about them. So this is a great topic to discuss.
Absolutely. Well, I've got plenty of notes here. I am the clip queen. So as I listen through, I'm clipping, ooh, that's a good point. Ooh, that's a good point. All right. So we'll summarize a little bit and give you all our take. You all can add your comments in the chat, and then we'll drop the link later if you want to chat. But we have a very special guest. Okay, so you all know how Kevin talked about the different stages of life for a man, right? How he needs those 10 years to kind of be heads down and become himself. And so this was more of the long-term play because men have to go through that process where they can get to a point where they can employ their women. And Kevin talked about, ladies, when you're considering this, this is something you only consider for a man who's already moving like a husband. This is not about throwing caution to the wind and doing anything risky. So if you're interested in being promoted to wife, what does that look like? You know, when I think about my man, and I was married at 25, now I'm in the long term after 10 years of marriage and 2 kids. But I remember we often talk about how Sam Walden, the owner of Walmart, his wife was a cashier at one of their first stores. And there's so many of these stories where, you know, a woman gets on her husband's program and is invested in the business. Because we talked about this last week. Those of us that have these, big jobs or think we have these big jobs, we're just a line item. We're just a number. And Kevin actually said in this episode, when we deliver for a company, we get a paycheck. That is the exchange. That's what we're selling on the labor market. But when you can actually invest in a business with the man who actually cares for you, I think the rewards would be even greater. What would you say, Lucy?
I agree. And to think about it, what better person to be part of your company, of your corporation, than the woman you love, or the woman that will be also looking out for you and for the family's well being. So, hopefully, as a man, you've vetted that woman and you've made the right decision hiring someone to work for you.
Absolutely. So Kevin said a lot in this episode, and one of the things that he tossed around was that word toxic. And you all know if you listen to any relationship content, it's a word that is talked about a lot. Toxic masculinity. I was in a toxic relationship. Well, Kevin actually offered in this episode, and we always link it in the description, so I encourage you all to watch it. He said that women, especially us modern women, are in toxic relationships with our jobs, abusive relationships with our jobs. We keep going back to get that same treatment. And he also said a lot of us think that we have options, but we've stressed because over here we promote marriage and long term. So we definitely want ladies to think about it. I know that he talked about that Sex in the City lifestyle where you have the big jobs and you're just kind of going out for happy hours and hanging with the girlfriends and got a rotation of men. That is promoted as the goal, but a lot of women rack up that student loan debt. They are miserable. They don't have relationship skills because they've only been practicing being fun girls. And that does not help you, especially like we said last week, when you are economically unattractive. It was really striking to me, but Kevin said he knew several women who were actually disqualified from a relationship because they have up to two, 300, $500,000 worth of debt. That is just mind blowing to me that women are allowing themselves to get in that position. So, what would you add to that, Lucy?
And that word fun girl to me would be the most offensive thing that somebody could even dare to say if I were out there. Because again, um, you don't think of a fun girl as somebody that just likes to partying. There's also other implications or other things that are inferred with that word. So, as young women, you have to be careful about how you are presented out there. And again, life is not only about fun, life is about self development. Life is about maybe um, going to a museum, going to a library, reading, just being in a quiet place. You can be alone and taking your time to learn how to be on your own. Being with the other fun girls is going to make you be seemed, again, perception becomes reality, be seen as another fun girl.
Absolutely. And another thing that Kevin talked about in this episode, ladies, one of the things we don't realize when we go to work, we are basically helping someone else's dream come true. Someone else has that law firm or that practice or that company, and we all work and we understand that. But every time that you go to work and you go that extra mile and you give that extra effort, he said that we are making other people rich. And if you look at other communities, oftentimes you will see that they keep their resources within their community. And that's something that he wanted us to think about. And as women, we are looking for men to lead us. If you want a traditional relationship with a masculine man, we admire a man who has a vision and someone who can employ us. Because, ladies, one of the things that my man says is that after about 10 years in corporate America, those of us that are working, you've seen it all. If you start working right after school, like I did, like a lot of us did, from 25 to 35, you've seen the leadership changes, you've seen the promotions, you've seen the missions, you've seen the goals, you've seen the campaigns, you've seen the layoffs, you've seen all of that. Then when you go into the next 20 years, from like your 30s to 40, you're, just trying to hang in there. Maybe you've had to, find another job, or maybe you've gotten promoted and you think things are going well. But something happens, ladies. I'm telling you, those of us over 40, everybody that I talk to, they're kind of like, "Ugh, I'm sick of the commute. I'm tired of these late nights. I'm tired of these deadlines." And we think we have these options and we can just kind of say, hey, rescue me from myself. So, what Kevin was offering in this episode is, why not take those skills that we're giving to someone else to make their dreams come true and put them to use for our man? We could be office manager, we could be social media manager, we could basically help be that support system and that helpmate for a man who is able to put us in a better position and actually cares about how we're doing. What would you say to that, Lucy?
Yes, and and he's talking about, for me, the way he would talk about, I imagine for a CEO of a huge corporation, somebody that would be able to think about a salary, but it's also even on a a not a regular value man, but a standard normal working man. You would be working alongside, if he says you're going to be a stay-at-home mom and you're going to be homeschooling our children, you're going to be making, if he just if there's a need to make appointments for him and things that he cannot do while he is working, that is also working for him, because you're getting him to that next step without having him worry about things that are happening in your house, because you are managing that home.
Absolutely. I could not have said it better. So, a few tangible tips that I got from Kevin's episode, ladies. So we want to make sure that we are in a position, I've talked about this before, where we want to be useful to our man. It's not just about looking good. You actually want to make sure that you help him to look good. You know that Kevin often talked about men, especially men that are on their purpose, their wolf pack in the community really matters to how they can be upwardly mobile. So you want to think about your skill sets, ladies. And we talked about this, I think, on a previous episode when we were talking about the type of degrees that women get and the type of skills that you're getting. You want to look at how your skill sets can be useful to the man that you want to work for and possibly get promoted to wife. Stay tuned for more of that. No judgment for anybody's careers, but Kevin often talked about the types of skills that were useful. I know he talked about like accounting, of course, those of us in social media. If you have any type of managerial, bookkeeping, organization, returning phone calls, any of those types of things. And ladies, it's really important to be teachable and coachable. You want to come with some skills already, but our man is going to kind of shape us, and we should customize ourselves for our man. Now, here's the thing, ladies, here's where we get in trouble. And Kevin talked about this. It's really, I'll say, disrespectful to a man when he sees you go that extra mile for that job, go that extra mile for that boss who's calling with last minute deadlines. You're working late, you're going in early, you're doing all this research, staying over the weekend, putting all this extra effort in. And then your man, who has sworn to protect you, asks for something simple, and either you're too tired or you're not interested or you kind of shoo him away. So if you want to consider this as an option to leave the workforce and work for a man that can employ you, it is a real job, ladies. Being a wife or being a woman who's being vetted, it's not about sitting back and looking cute. So you want to make sure that you put that same effort in. What would you add, Lucy?
And it goes back to what we have said before. You got to be an asset for him. You have to be able to show him that if if you are promoted to wife, you are going to make him look good in every way.
Absolutely. And I see some comments in here that Condemn says, will she be my aide, my admin, my assistant, or do I need a woman in each of these roles? That's a great question, ladies. I was listening to another content creator earlier, and he said, if you're a woman who has the attention of the type of man that she wants to eventually be married to, you need to be looking for opportunities to serve. If there's something that he says that, this is a struggle for me, or I can't be two places at one time, or, I can handle the big rocks, but these little rocks are kind of falling through the cracks. Ladies, jump on that opportunity and be grateful. I'll help you. I can do that. Show up as useful. Another thing that Kevin said in this episode, I definitely encourage you all to watch it, is you want to make sure that you are surrounding yourself with the type of women and girlfriends that are going to promote this, because this is kind of counterculture. That's why we have this community. The culture, popular culture today, is going to encourage you to be part of the workforce. It's going to encourage you to be part of the machine, that you need more, that you need the bigger, faster, stronger, new car every year, bigger house, all these extra vacations. And it basically handcuffs you into a lifestyle where all you do is work, and then you're a shell of yourself and you have nothing left for the man that you want. And ladies, I know it's hard to say, but he will find somebody who will get on his program, because a man who has the ability to retire you from, your actual job, if you don't do it, somebody will. Because what we're not going to do, ladies, is we're not going to take them off their purpose. And they're not going to hold our hand and coddle us. We have to show up and, like my man says, be ready right now to get on the program, find ways that you can be helpful, and listen to the feedback and correct it. It's really important. This is a job, but the benefits, I would say, the benefits are going to be so much more than just the paycheck and then wondering if the next round of layoffs is going to include you. What would you say, Lucy?
I like what you said about being ready for the job, because I have seen so many situations in where the woman is with the man 5, 7, 10 years, and all of a sudden they break up and the man marries the next one in front of him, because that woman at that time was ready. Those 10 years, those 7 years, those 5 years that the other one spent with them, there was obviously something that he didn't see in you, that didn't um, motivate him to ask that question. Once you separated, he found one that was willing to be following along with this program, and right away she got the ring.
She got the ring, ladies. And if you're here, you want that ring, and we want you to have that ring. So I'm going to go to you all's comments, and then we actually have somebody with us who has a benefits package, who is looking to hire and potentially promote a woman to wife. So I'm very excited to be able to bring this to you all. So thank you all for liking the live stream. Let's see what you all are saying in the chat. FemGem says, yes, make yourself accessible to your man. Yes, not only accessible, I would say your man needs to be the priority. What he says is what goes. And Lucy and I operate on that. The reason my streams are now an hour this year is because my man said, yeah, I think you can wrap it up in an hour. And I was like, okay. So we get right to it. Celine has a question. How do you put yourself in a position to be pursued instead of the pursuer? So I'll answer this, and then Lucy, I'd love to know what you think. Ladies, naturally, men are hunters. So if you find yourself pursuing, you're already kind of taking on a masculine role. And I understand that today's world kind of tells women to go out there and be that go-getter and, go grab what you want and wrestle it to the ground. That is not attractive to masculine men. To be pursued, you want to, and this is part of what we tell our women, Lucy and I run a finishing school. I do coaching and consults. You want to make sure that you obviously look your best, but then also when you're out and about, be approachable. I would say, especially as women, we need to listen more than we talk, because a lot of times, even for someone like, me, as a social butterfly, you just want to talk and talk and talk. Men, especially men on their purpose, are a few words. So you really want to listen and apply what they say. So eye contact, you want to smile, and you want to show there's feminine ways to show that you are approachable and accessible, but you don't want to dominate. This is being useful. He leads, we follow. What would you say, Lucy?
Yes, it's one of those things that it takes practice. You have to be out there. You have to go to libraries, you have to go to rock climbing sessions, you have to go to all of these places where there's people in there, and be fit, feminine, and friendly. Again, the friendliness. A man is not going to approach you if you have that resting mad face. They're not going to come to you if you have that terrible face. What man wants to approach somebody that says, "Don't even come to me"? Be friendly, smile, look around, and just think that you're going to find your next friend in this group of people that are in this event, because that's all it needs. All it needs is for you to look around. He spots you, you look at each other in the eye, and then if it's for you, it's for you. You don't have to the pursuing. All you have to do is give that welcoming signal, and it's on. I love it. Oh, that's so much fun.
I know, me too. I think, ladies, we have lost a sense of the flirting and the courting. Now, ladies, that means you have to show up as the type of woman that is seen this way. Like Lucy said, if you have that resting witch face or resting mad face, or you come on too strong, or you're harsh, or you've got, a bad temper or bad language, or you're dressed vulgar, a man is going to kind of put you in that category. Oh, that's one of those. I've seen that before. And, it's unfortunate, but it's true. So you have to be willing to kind of go against the grain and be very selective, ladies. We need to study men a lot more than we do. And even if you're not in a relationship right now, I would advise you to study the caliber of men that you want to be in relationship with. What kind of jobs do they have? What are some of their strengths? What are some of the things that they struggle with? What is their schedule, their routine? What do they like? What do they not like? And lastly, I would say you definitely want to take advantage of your network. This is one of the things that I tell ladies in coaching. Now, this assumes that you have the kind of network that is around these kind of men. And if everywhere you look, it's just, ratchetness and pop music and just gossip and the daily tea, there's a place for that, maybe. But if that's all that you have around you and nothing is really elevating you, you're just going to stay stuck in that. But if I were single and available, I would tell all of my married friends, my church friends, anybody who was in a position to help me become discovered, because I think we're better together, just like Kevin Samuel said. And yeah, absolutely. Let's see if there's any other comments, and then we're going to move into part 2 of our conversation. Would you say anything else to that, Lucy?
I think we might be ready for our guest.
All right. Well, so we have shared with you all our take on the Kevin Samuels episode, Women Need to Work for High Value Men. So we actually have someone with us who is on his way, well on his way to being high value. And he actually has a benefits package. He is actually taking applications and looking to possibly promote someone to wife. So ladies, listen up and take notes and see what you can learn and apply. Let me see if I'm missing anything. Just another mark says, yeah, she can't be scowling and expect me to walk up to her with a smile. She might bite me. Ladies, we laugh, but it's true. If you look like, don't bother me, then people won't bother you. Absolutely. What does Alonzo say? My first time seeing you here, he says, "Wow, I'm glad I found you, ladies. I'm already married and not yet in a position to retire my wife, but I'm getting there." I absolutely I absolutely love that. Yes, he says he's told his wife he's going to retire her. I love that. I am working on the same. Okay. So, without any further ado, I am going to bring to the stage Angelo Chery. Angelo, please introduce yourself.
Greetings. My name is Angelo Chery. I have a background as a multi award winning musician. I focused on genre fluid storytelling. I accumulated a lifetime of musical achievements in only a decade. Now I am a warrior, conqueror, and a master at maximizing progress in extremely short time spans. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here, Angelo. We are so excited. I know you've been here before, but what did you think about this episode? And what do you think about Kevin Samuel saying women should work for their high value man?
Kevin is one of
Kevin
the
is one of the
few men
few
that I
men that I
acknowledge
acknowledge
as
as
my elder. And this episode was special. What really stood out the most is when he said that modern women are in a toxic relationship with their job. I can recall a couple of times I've invited a woman to dinner, and one of my favorite questions to ask is a relationship a priority in your life? And I get mixed answers, kind of yeses, but their actions say no because they expect that I'd only see them like 4 times a month, like on weekends once in a while, like we're still in high school, because their job is such a huge part of their life, and it is toxic. Even though they see it as security, it's a false sense of security. That's my
that's my
answer.
answer.
So tell me a little bit about that when you say a woman's job is toxic. From a man's perspective, when a woman prioritizes her career, what does that say to you?
Well, you come home stressed. You don't have you're not full of energy. You're not that sunshine that I need you to be most of the time. And it's just not fun to be around. I think it's like Kevin was saying, pressure is meant for shoulders, not hips. And it really can deteriorate the foundation of relationships.
Muted. I think we lost her. She had to get back in. So, Angelo, um, the women that you've been around with, when they tell you that they're tired, that they're that their jobs and they don't have time for you, how does that make you see them? Do they their actions, do they make you feel like you're wanted, or do they make them see that, yeah, the job takes priority over me?
It depends on how the date went. If it went pretty bad, then it's like it's not a big deal to me. But if it's someone special and who I think is rare, especially if they get through all of my questions, and it's a lot of questions, and it's something that I'm looking to continue, it's a bummer because I'm like, you're so close. Especially after I've told them about my benefits package and
Hmm.
my plans for a relationship in my life. It's like, wow.
That is interesting. And you tell them about the benefits package on the first date, or is it something that I mean, of course, we're all individuals, we're all different. Do you see when the best time it is to present the benefits package to them?
I usually do it on the second date, but if the first is going really well, I'll talk about it a little bit, but I won't get really deep into it.
Okay. And their reaction for the most part, is it when
When
you
you
see
see
their
their
faces,
faces,
are
are
they
they
taking
taking?
in the information, or are they just being um are they pushing back, or are they saying, yeah, this is not for me?
Most of the time, they're very intrigued
Intrigued.
because they're not used to hearing some of the questions that I ask or even hearing about a benefits package or a plan.
Mm-hmm.
So they're intrigued. I don't think I've met anyone that's like bored or like think it's nothing yet.
Okay.
Thank you all so much. Sorry, I was struggle streaming, but I love this comment from Alonzo who says Angelo is what a man is supposed to be. He is even tempered. He is a great example of what some men need to do. So, I would love for you to kind of walk through. I know Angelo, you sent me an outline of what you have in store or what you're planning for the woman who is going to take you up on this offer. So, can you walk us through some of what you are looking for?
Yes, I'll start with loyalty and benefits. That's my first point. So, in terms of loyalty, I have to describe what that means to me first. Loyalty to me is very contractual. It's not unlimited. So, if you do take on this job and you do a horrible job or you demonstrate poor patterns, I will fire you immediately. But there's also a positive side to that. I'm very big on people not exchanging time for money. So my employees are independent contractors. Pay is hourly, but it's also result based. The minimum pay is 25 an hour with a maximum of 60 um, based on results. In
In
terms of
terms of
result,
result,
oop, okay, are you gonna ask a question, Maggie?
I'm sorry, did I hear $25 an hour to $60 an hour? Like, ladies, I don't know what you all are making, but that is um, more than part time pay, if you ask me. What would you say to that, Lucy?
But remember, it's results based. So, according to what your deliverables, that's where the pay is going to increase. And he's going to be looking at it because he's going to be ready to fire you once that loyalty disappears.
I love that. Okay, Angelo, back to you. Tell us more.
My instructors make 40 to 50 an hour, but for what I'm looking for in terms of the woman in my company and in my life, it is 25 to 60. In terms of result pay, you get a variant of equity as well over time and when consistency is demonstrated. The reason I say variant is because marriage kind of gives you equity in my life. So I'm not going to give you equity in my company right at the start. You get a variant in your contract. So that means when you bring value and bring your own residencies and your own accomplishments to the company, your contract will include that you get a gross percentage of tuition from what you brought from that location, that residency. So I think that's very powerful. We'll talk about that more when I talk about my business and what it is.
Okay, so a couple questions here. We see BLJ watching. Thank you for giving us the watching eyes. We appreciate you so much. Okay, so I don't know if Angelo talked about his business before I hit my struggle stream. So Angelo, if you didn't already, can you talk a little bit about the type of work that you do? I see FemGems has a question here about if the person has to be musically inclined or artistic, and what kind of like initial skill set you're looking for and what you're going to train on. Also, I did want to speak on this about the equity part. And when I hear equity, I hear bonus. And those of us ladies, if you work for a company, you know about that annual bonus and you're willing to work hard and meet those deadlines and do all of these things for the potential of a bonus once a year or the next year. So I like that this is almost like a scale, like almost like a climbing scale. And ladies, we should be ready to earn it. This is not something that you just get the ring, excuse me, and you sit back somewhere and it's like, I hit the lottery. No, you're going to work because he is going to work. Would you add anything to that, Lucy?
Yeah, the bonus part to me is something fantastic because I don't remember any corporation or any jobs that I've received a bonus. So when I hear bonus, wow, that's an extra thing that I was never expecting, and I would be working double time to make sure that I'm kept in that company because I know that that bonus is coming.
Absolutely. All right, Angela, I'm going to bring you back on. Tell us more.
My main business is music academies. I build music academies. So my New York-based academy and the latest one is called the No Goodbyes program. So Carnegie Hall, the New York Times, Pulitzer Prize, Recording Academy, Grammy Awards. We're a first-class music program and pioneers of the biggest revolution in music education. We cultivate dreamers who envision with their eyes wide open, not closed. So we invite all students to take a guaranteed front row seat to greatness.
That is so fantastic. And I know, Angelo, you sent me your sizzle reel and some videos and some of the stuff that you've done. I don't know if you want me to share or you just want to talk about um your offer right now, but if you could talk a little bit about the skill set that you're looking for on day one and what you're looking to train towards.
Yes, let's start with the skill set. One of my other points is diverse perspectives and feminine touch. So there are a lot of times, whether I'm performing or attending, that I've been at really high end events attended by the mayor, prime minister of Jamaica, politicians, and council members. And of course, whether I'm building an academy for myself or another entity at that time, I'd have the academy in the flyer or in the program. But I always needed someone in attendance talking and mingling and networking for me, for us, really. But I've always had to find someone to train for it. Usually it's a male, which is not the best person for it because I think the feminine energy is more inviting and better for this. They don't do a great job because it's not something they're passionate about or that's really going to benefit them as much. But I need a woman that can really do that. And she has to be teachable, which we'll talk about in a second, because I'm really good on teaching the subtleties of social dynamics, especially for events attended by people of consequence.
All right, so let's unpack this because you said a lot here and I absolutely love it. And Aaron Laura says, ladies, he's attractive, he's fit, he's ambitious, and we assume he is well organized because of his success. Yes, he is a musician and a businessman, very, very accomplished. And she says, I'm baffled he's single. I don't know if you want to talk about that or your search. We'll move on. And we are wishing you success in your love life. But the teachable moment, ladies, because Angelo said a lot here and it's really important. So he has a presence for his music academy at very high profile events. And what did Kevin Samuel say? We need to be the feminine asset to their masculine brand. So he's basically talking about a woman who can work the room, who is good in conversation, who can be that social butterfly, who can listen, who can drop seeds, who can make connections, who can basically, I call it shaking hands and kissing babies. And this is a very important networking skill. And so being that feminine woman, being able to carry yourself in mixed company, shout out to the finishing school. These are the type of skills that you need to have on day one so you can help him reach his goals. What would you add to that, Lucy?
I agree. Those etiquette and elegance skills are needed, especially if you're working with different cultures, different folks. Your skills, your observational skills to make sure that whoever is maybe not feeling great in that room, you pay attention to them. Again, having that heart of service, being service oriented to the and catering to the people that are part of your husband's or your significant other's business.
I absolutely love it. All right, Angelo, tell us more.
The second part of that point is role modeling and influencing the culture of a company. I have many colleagues in many different companies and programs that I happen to know that the culture and the communication is very negative. It's very negative towards the company and everything that's going on, and it's not as beautiful as we'd like it to be. So in my community, I'm okay with gossip, but I need my women to influence positive gossip. I want to hear things like, "Did you hear about what just happened? You know, this accomplishment or what this student just did?" Things like that are very beautiful and can really influence a company to move forward.
I absolutely love that. I want to just this is hopefully, ladies, you are realizing this is so helpful. And just coming from someone like me, like when we give our best to companies, obviously we do it and we get our paycheck, but if I'm being honest, it doesn't inspire, right? I'm inspired just listening to what Angelo is doing, bringing music and his services to high profile arenas. And I love what he said about that positive gossip. Ladies, we know people talk, okay? So if you think, oh, don't judge a book by its cover, or oh, you don't know me. First impressions matter, ladies. They absolutely matter, not only of yourself, but also how you represent your man and how you represent your family brand. So it's really important the things that you do, how you show up on social media, the reputation that you have. All of these things are important because a man of value is not going to take a risk, because it's not just do I like her and does she like me? I have my whole purpose and my life's work here. Do I trust this woman enough to help me take it to where only we can go together? What would you add to that, Lucy?
And that goes back again to your listening skills, to your listening to some of that maybe negative gossip and being able to turn it around in the room to make it something positive. To then, when you come back and you regroup with your husband, talk about the things that you listened to, that you heard, and then maybe on the next event, try to turn it around and make it something positive. Again, gossip, negative gossip is just a distraction, but you, with the elegance that you will provide in that room, you will be able to listen to the information, maybe turn it around where it will benefit everyone. It's a win-win situation, and then come back and discuss what those talking points and um, uh, phrases or talking of things that were not beneficial, where the next time that you meet with the same people, you can turn it around and make it something good.
Absolutely. I hope you all are learning and liking this. So let me give Angelo the floor. Angelo, please tell us more. What is next on your job description?
Next is accelerating achievements and goals. So the first on this list is the formula for power. So if I were you, I'd write this down because this is awesome. I created this formula when I used to be a musician, and it's basically power equals frequency divided by time. So if you want to gain a certain amount of power, the frequency of what you're doing doesn't have to change. Only the rate of that frequency has to change. So if you can do 10 push-ups in 1 minute, you get a certain amount of power. But if you can do 10 push-ups in 10 seconds, you get even more power. This also ties to the importance of speed and how winners move fast. The formula can take one person like myself really far, but it really shines when you multiply that formula, which is why it's so important for women to work for her man. Okay, I need a program director as well. There are a lot of things that I have automation for, but there are other things that I have to do myself, like teacher evaluations, making sure residencies are abiding to our agreements and our contracts, making sure students are really progressing, things like that. I don't want to be doing, and I think I need my women to do because I'm really good at conquest. I want to just come into the meetings and get things done, write the contract, sign. That's what I'm really good at. Securing and
Securing.
go ahead, Maggie.
No, I'm loving this so much. I'm so sorry, but I love this so much because everything that you're saying, Angelo, I'm hearing when Kevin Samuel said, ladies, a man is going to take himself as far as he can on his own, then he's going to look for a suitable helpmate to take him even further. And that is exactly what you are describing. So sometimes I just get a little bit of chills thinking about that, and that program director and those skills. helping with some of those administrative tasks that we women, we like the details, we are able to help those things. And when you say I'm the conqueror, like I just think about the man going out to slay the dragons and coming home. I mean, this is it in real life, so I'm just very excited. What would you add, Lucy?
And in my mind, that also goes back to finding the right woman, the woman that's teachable, the woman that is being able to have a pad, write down all the necessary things, and pay attention to what the priorities are, asking the right questions. So I think as a previous executive assistant, I am loving it because that's what you, as the next person to your significant other, should be. You should be that right hand to him that's going to be able to take him to the next level.
All right, so Angelo, give us more from your
Give
job
a couple
description.
more. All right, next we have securing and scheduling valuable meetings. So I'm really good at cold calls and just direct emails. It has gotten me to final negotiations with billion-dollar companies and billion-dollar locations, but that is not something I need to be doing because, again, it takes away from the time I could be conquering. That's very important to me. So someone who's organized, who's good at keeping a schedule, who's good with people. It's a bit of sales actually too, but that also ties into being teachable because I'm also expecting them to be able to receive training on the proposals, contract templates, and business practices that have already led to favorable outcomes for us.
I'm gonna let you keep going.
Last on accelerating achievements and goals is keeping our money in our circle. So you have to be trustworthy, and this comes with time as well. One of the parts of my plan is that my woman would have a nonprofit or foundation. So that's whether we were doing charitable work or operating as a private bank funding things we're passionate about. But it's really about keeping our money in our circle as well and, running away from the IRS as much as possible. So it has to be someone who's knowledgeable on the format of a nonprofit or who's willing to learn so that the money we would usually pay in tax we would put into her nonprofit and keep it in the circle or use it to fund things we're passionate about. That also comes with other assets as well.
If I could stand up and clap, I would just stand up and clap. I am so stinking like proud and excited. And I saw the International Quiet Storm gave us a huge compliment. He said that ladies, Kevin Samuels would be smiling right now. And I am just, I'm so excited. But okay, so let's unpack what you said. And I love that part about philanthropy because I think all of us want to make a difference. And that's one of the gaps, I'll say. Like when you work for corporate, that's fine. You get a paycheck. But if we're really being honest, like once your needs are met, sometimes you think like, what am I really doing? Or what is it, all for? If you're not there yet in your career, just keep living. But I love that you have the vision for, okay, as the money comes in, how can we use it wisely? Where can we put it in different vehicles so that it benefits us? And like you said, keeps it in the family, keeps it in the community, keeps it in the business. And ladies, this is important. When Lucy and I did, I can't remember what stream it was on, but we did a few streams ago, the relationship scorecard, that business sense and that fiscal responsibility is really important. So you have to be demonstrating this. And I'm hoping the young ladies are realizing how important it is to be demonstrating these things already as a single woman so that the man that is hunting, the man that is looking for that could say, oh, she's already working things out really well with the small budget that she has. Let me trust her with a little bit more. But if you are irresponsible, if you do have impulse spending, if you have money in your hand and it's burning a hole in your pocket, if you have bad credit or too much debt, it's going to make you, like Kevin said in this episode, economically unattractive. What would you add to that, Lucy?
in addition to that, Maggie and I, we work together, and my focus sometimes is the money side. How are we going to spend this? How are we going to do this? Have you thought about, I'm thinking about TLA too, about a prenup? Are you going to be presenting a prenup? Because it seems to me that there's a lot of money involved there, and you just want to make sure that your assets are protected.
Yes,
Yes,
Yes.
and it's because I
It's because I
watched too much
watched too much.
TLA. Let's just
Just
blame
blame
him.
him.
I don't
No,
like
I
signing
like signing
contracts that don't benefit me. So that
that
provision
provision.
is, it will be there, but the variant of equity I'm offering is way before marriage. So even if, let's say, you end up leaving the company or you don't work out as a couple, everything you contributed will still be yours to benefit from. I value that.
I absolutely love that. And ladies, this I'm thinking back to this episode that we just did with Kevin because there was a young woman that came in, called in, and she had some big four accounting job, and a man was willing to move her from another state, I think here to Atlanta, and basically employ her for him. And she was kind of like, "Ooh, it took me a long time to get this job." And Kevin told her, "You can always go back to it." But I want ladies to understand you don't get these type of opportunities often. I think sometimes, and Kevin said this in the episode, you need to find the best opportunity for you, get on out of the dating market and go build something that will last. And I love what Angelo said about, having a prenup. And I know in some cultures it may be frowned upon, but ladies, a man is not going to, nor should he, roll the dice and everything that he's built can be, taken away half or more. So this is just part of the conversation. My man had this conversation with me early and often, so I understood. But I love what Angelo said about you're going to get so much benefit from being in part of his life, being in part of his business. And if for whatever reason it doesn't work out, you will leave better than you came into it. You will have more skills. You will have more knowledge. You will have more tools that if you want to go back to corporate, you absolutely can. How many of us or how many of you all are in relationships and when you leave the relationship, you're a shell of yourself. You haven't really developed it anyway. You're, worse for the wear. I want ladies to start dating with intention, and any relationship that you're in should make you better, like you're making him better. What would you add to that, Lucy?
Heaven forbid if the emotional relationship doesn't work out. She's already learned so much from all the skills that you went through, and all the networking. She has probably built up a network of friends that she could uh, go to or refer to in the event that it doesn't work out with you. But that set of skills that person is going to learn being next to you and you guiding her is going to be amazing.
Absolutely. So Angelo has given us his job description. If you all have any questions, we can ask. Angelo, I don't know if you talked about the conservatory or what the nature of your business is. Maybe I missed that when I had to drop. But if you could kind of just touch on the type of work that you do. We know a lot about the job description that you're hiring for and looking to promote to wife one day. And then FemGems also has a question about your leadership style.
Yes, so the No Goodbyes program is a music academy. So we will have the No Goodbyes Foundation, which will be a nonprofit. For now, registering and paying tuition to attend.
Okay, fantastic. And how would you describe your leadership style?
Only music program who offers an initiative that is very rare and groundbreaking, which is the No Goodbyes initiative. There's this plague of music much
Okay, is
that
it?
at no point in
Oh no, we're having another struggle. Is it just me, Lucy? Are you able to hear and see me? All right, you were muted. Okay.
There's a delay, and right now I think his froze completely.
Okay, so we will bring Angelo back up to do his final thoughts. Angelo, when you can hear and see me, just let me know when ready to come back up, because I definitely want you to finish your thought. But Angelo, not only does he have a job description, he is looking right now, and he has a role for a woman to play in his life, not just to be there and look cute, but he also sent me a sizzle reel, if you will. Angelo is a musician, and so I have a 3-minute video that I'm going to try and play for you all. That's part of his past. You can see where he's gone from musician to now he has a music academy with teachers and students and all of the things that he's talked about. Okay, so I see you in the back now, Angela. I'm going to let me bring you back up. There you are. I'm going to let you go ahead and finish your thought. Then we will close out with your video.
Not sure where I got cut off, but I'll answer the leadership style question. I am more of a dictator, but I'm a good dictator. I'll say that. Yes, I think that's beneficial because one of the biggest things you hear in the history of humanity and war is I was just following orders. So when you're with someone who doesn't look to other people for doing the right thing or making certain decisions, I think that's very beneficial. So there are certain situations that a woman can get into where the man might not do what someone who loves you should do because they might think it's against the law or I'm not supposed to do this or that. I'm like, my sword is over there. I'll say that.
Oh my goodness. And the condemned definitely reminds us of another Kevin Samuels term, a benevolent dictatorship. And I know we laugh at it, or some of you ladies who may be hearing this for the first time might be like, oh my God, he says he's a dictator. I'm telling you, if you are around a masculine man who is on his purpose, it is his way or the highway. It just is. So if you have not been in the company of those type of men, you need to learn that and don't jump in cold and think you're going to bring modern woman thinking into these kind of roles. I have seen it done, and this is another reason why, ladies, you should, I think, if you want marriage in long term, you should only date the caliber of men that you want to eventually end up with. Because what I see in my consults when I talk to women, when they're in their fun girl phase or sex in the city or hot girl summer phase, they waste a lot of time dating fun boys. And then they try to take that relationship or whatever kind of dynamic into meeting a real one, and they get their feelings hurt and they are really unprepared because they don't know how to talk to a man, how to serve a man, how to get on program, how to fall into structure, how to receive leadership and correction. So if that's not for you, that's fine. I always say, I know there's different types of relationships, but these kind of men, they have the vision and we are not going to take them off their course. What would you say, Lucy? Muted.
And I agree. And these men, from the get go, demand respect. So the fact that you're going to come in with your modern woman thinking, trying to ask questions to any directive that he gives you, that's going to be detrimental. Because when he says go, you say how fast and how high, or, there's no questions asked because there's a reason why he's telling you that. Of course, once the relationship develops, your feminine skills, you'll be able to softly ask questions to some of the things that, as you've gotten to know each other, are not, you haven't seen it in the past. So it's okay to question when the time is right, many dates in front. But yeah, benevolent dictatorship is what men want in their relationship, at least at the beginning, to get to know each other. And also for us women, we need that because again, we are our minds are very emotional. So we need somebody to say no when it's no, and that's how it is.
You are exactly right, Lucy. So, on that note, let me see here. I'm going to try and share my screen. I have a 3-minute video of Angelo's past so you all can see a little bit about him, and then we will come back for closing thoughts. But yes, ladies, you have to earn the right to question a man. And I would offer that you do it very sparingly and with a lot of thought. All right, so let me mute myself and share my screen.
Angelo, you look like a.
One can feel what I was feeling in the moment when I was making it.
Angelo, you've just literally made like the whole poster campaign for why young people need music. What breaks my heart about our education system today is that not every kid has the chance to find those things in themselves.
Musical instrument because it will change their lives, which will help them to change the world. Thank you.
All right. So, with that being said, I have seen this video. I see Lucy is already clutching her heart. Hello, everybody coming in. We're going to do our final thoughts. And Angelo, I could cry tears of joy just as an older woman, as a mother of boys. You are the living example of a young man who is on his purpose, who has a vision, who will not be moved. You have earned the right to require what you require. I am on board to help you find that suitable companion. I'm so incredibly proud of you and impressed by you. FemGem says, wow. Aaron Laura says, phenomenal. Just Another Mark says, multi-talented. Big Ben is giving you thumbs up, and The Condemned is giving you hand claps. So thank you so much, and I cannot wait to see what you're going to do. Lucy, any final words to close us out?
Oh my God. This was amazing. You are a child prodigy, aren't you? I mean, from when you were a child, you had to be learning how to play the strings, especially the violin. I mean, and I get chills because I love strings. I love guitar. I used to play the guitar when I was younger, so I understand the amount of talent that it requires, especially to play the violin. That is amazing. I got no words. I'm looking forward to seeing you just, fly, because this is going to be what you're going to do is going to be amazing.
Thank you, Coach Austin.
Absolutely. Oh, I'm sorry, Angela. I am coming to you to close us out. Linda says you're amazing talent. FemGem says epic. Aaron Laura says a lot of dedication. Escape the Rat Race says superb. And Aaron Laura says phenomenal. You should be proud of yourself, sir. Ladies, don't waste this chance. So I'm going to give you the words to close us out. Anything else you want to add? Anything you want to say about that sizzle reel that you sent me? And how should ladies reach out if they want to apply for the job?
I'll close out by saying one of the things Kevin used to say a lot, which is life is about people. And what I've added to that is life is about the pursuit of pleasure as well, and whatever, in all the ways that that's important to you. I think we need to stop looking at life as something we have to do on our own and as something we have to prove that I did it. I was strong and independent, and I survived. But what's really happening is a lot of us are suffering in silence, and we need to get back to a place where we trust each other and work together. So I think that's more beautiful. It's a better path. Thank you, Maggie. If you want to reach out to me, you have to reach out to Auntie Maggie first. She's like my firewall. She's gonna pre-vet you a little bit. Thank you.
Oh my goodness, thank you. I am happy to be Auntie Maggie. Between Auntie Maggie and Tia Lucy, we will not rest until you get a suitable woman to help you take this dream forward. I'm just so incredibly impressed, like everyone is. And yes, they say take your bow, and we have learned a lot. So, the Wives Club is always open. Oh, Erin Laura coming in with the $5. Thank you. She says, great stream, ladies. Thank you, Mr. Chery, for all your valuable insight. And yes, so in between Kevin's episode and seeing a real world example, and Angelo is not the only one. We have men in the chat that are looking to put their women to work. So ladies, I want you to open your eyes and think bigger and think about using your skills in a way that is beneficial for the man that you want to have. The Wives Club is here for you every week. We're usually here on Friday nights. We always review a Kevin Samuels episode and then give you our take on it from older woman's perspective. And tonight we had a very special guest join us. So if you're interested, you all can find me, Maggie the Substitute Teacher at gmail.com, or I'm Maggie the Substitute Teacher. You can inbox me on Facebook or Instagram, and I will be fielding candidates for Mr. Angelo. So yes, this was beautiful. We will let you all have your evening. Thank you all so much for being here. And until the next time, we will see you back on the Wives Club.